Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, like, I don't know the scope of the game yet. Like,
takes from you. Now, sleep is worth its own mention here because it's still really undervalued, even in really health-conscious circles. So, sleep is not a passive state. It's when your body does most of its repair work. So growth hormone, which is the hormone most responsible for muscle repair and fat metabolism, is released predominantly during sleep. Your brain clears waste products during sleep through a system called the glymphatic system, which essentially sort of only works properly at night. Your immune system consolidates its responses during sleep. Your cortisol rhythm resets during sleep. Your insulin sensitivity is profoundly affected by sleep quality. Even a single night of poor sleep really impairs how your body handles blood sugar.
What are we talking about here?
I can get you reinstated.
Reinstated?
I know you want your badge back more than anything. And I already talked to Professor Emery about your situation.
Professor Eugene Emery? At Garland College?
That's right. I'm in his class.
Oh my God! I just read his book.
Oh yeah. We have a test on that next week.
It's wonderful.
What's it about?
Well, it's an argument for tort reform. Professor Emery feels that we could eliminate all superfluous litigation if we cap punitive damages and hold the plaintiff liable for any court expenses.
So thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all.
But I'm sure you can get out of the test because your grandmother.
Right. Whew.
But you did talk to Professor Emery, to Eugene Emery about me?
Yeah, he said he could definitely get you reinstated. He guaranteed it.
How?
I'll tell you when my grandmother's home, safe and sound. Do we have a deal?
Well, I could always call Professor Emery myself. But I won't.
Not a word. She's alone in the house. Now, nobody is in the room but her. Julie, we need 45 seconds, okay? You can do it.
Hello?
This is the Lightning Brigade. All the power to the people.
Okay.
We have your grandmother.
Is she alright?
She's fine. And if you want her to stay that way, do exactly what we say. And don't try to keep us on the phone, Julie.
Well, okay, but can I talk to her?
I said she's fine. Don't you trust me?
Yeah, but she has a heart condition. She needs her medication.
Then you better listen carefully. Here's what I need you to do.
Do you want me to hang up? Is that what you want?
Who's there? Blow it up.
41 seconds. We missed her. She had something on her.
Do you think they'll call again?
I don't think so.
Sharona, watch it.
That wasn't the police. I'm just really nervous, okay? I swear.
And it seems like
Here's what we
On
need you to
February
do.
20th,
There are
2025, Flagler County Sheriff's Office tracked a stolen
just walks
Corvette
away the
into
rich
Palm
stuff
Coast,
their fat
Florida.
faces and fancy
When deputies
restaurants.
attempted
We're not
contact,
rich.
suspects fled in a second stolen
Tonight,
vehicle,
redistribute
triggering a
wealth.
coordinated
I want you
pursuit.
to buy
This
every
case
homeless
presents
person
multiple
in District 2
constitutional and statutory questions.
Just do it.
Lawful pursuit
Grandma will be home
authority,
before you know it.
spike strip
Okay, well,
deployment
what time
standards, use of force continuum,
Didn't get
and
it.
legal consequences of fleeing from law enforcement.
They want turkey dinners for all the homeless people in the Mission District. What the hell's going on?
I'm over here right now. What do you want me to do?
We got her. We got her back. They dropped her off 2 blocks away. Call EMS.
If you're feeling completely overwhelmed by all
How's Grandma Paula doing?
Well, she's a tough old bird.
But she can't ID the kidnappers.
Blindfolded the whole time.
But she thinks she's heard their voices before. She just can't remember where.
Well, it didn't hurt her.
No, she was treated pretty well considering. They even kept saying, be careful when they carried her out of the house.
Yeah, they fed her pizza. All the pizza she could eat. Can't even get pizza at my house.
And get this, they played opera. The old lady said she could hear it through the door.
Kidnappers are into opera.
So wait, are you ready for your test?
Piece of cake.
Miss Paula, how you feeling?
Oh, don't worry about it. I heard what happened to you in my life.
It just means we're getting close. Somebody's getting nervous, Mrs. Parker. So now I want to try to find out exactly where they took you.
Closing thoughts. I am about to release only to 1,000 people, though. We're doing a first run on this. It's called the Wellness Map. It's a really amazing app. Very excited about it. We basically work for a year for this thing, phase 1. And we're going to test the waters and see how people like it. But it'll allow you to quickly find out the gap in your lifestyle, what you need to focus on with your environment. So it's going to focus on your environment in phase 1. So whether your environment is your kitchen, because you have too much junk food in your refrigerator or pantry, or maybe you sit in front of a desk for too long, or your environment where you sleep, all these things, we're going to actually help you with this app and give you great suggestions. And you can even take pictures of your foods and then put that data in there. And what happens, the more people we have, the more data we
give
get.
up,
And by the
surrender,
way, it's
here we
not
go.
going to be ever.
You want voting rights for women? Here you go. You want gay rights? Here you go. You want more liberties around your land as landowners? Here we go. Farmers? Here we go. Historically speaking, you want free speech? Here you go. The top was forced by the bottom to decide to actually give something
Be so
to the
smart
country.
that you can.
The system is
If you have a
staying the
question,
same.
you're trying to
The
solve
exact
a problem,
opposite cycle
it'll tell you
of the American
all
politics.
the things that are going to
Now,
help
if you think that
do this
people at the
right
bottom
here,
can actually
you
decide
can rest assured
in Britain, you should move to the US. That's how it works in the United States, not in the United Kingdom.
Getting paid, trying everything. So it's a great
And
platform to figure out
there is,
problems over time. And it's
does it matter if Starmer resigns? His party is still in power. No. Yes and no. So when a party in power in British Parliament changes leaders, that means they have scandals, they have crises. Even though they can stay in power until the parliamentary term is over, and then there's an election, it's still important. Yes, they can stay in power until the election, but by that point, all these scandals will make the voters realize too many scandals. We're not going to vote for this party. Same thing happened to the Tory party for the past few years, especially since 2020 onwards. They changed party leaders, they had a lot of scandals, they stayed in power until the last minute, but the people looked at it saying, yeah, over the last couple of years it's been completely chaotic. We're not going to vote for it. So everything you do, including pushing the Prime Minister out now, is to help the result of the next election, even if you don't have a snap election. And Ken says, appreciate your dedication and the info that you provide. Thank you so much. Turn the House of Lords into the Senate. That is a terrible idea. Stop creating more corrupt chambers with corrupt elected politicians. That's not the solution. The House of Commons into the House of Representatives is the same thing right now. House of Commons is the House of Representatives. Prime Minister into President, so you want more corruption, right? With separate election, write a definitive solid constitution, keep your monarchy as a figure. That is, everything's just wrong about this idea. If you're doing all that, there's absolutely no point in keeping the monarch as a figure. There's literally no point. It's highly unlikely that you could replicate a constitutional republic, like in the US, in Britain. So if you turn the British system into a republic, it's not going to be like the American Republic. It's going to be a completely chaotic European republic, and which means that the Prime Minister will be corrupt because Prime Ministers are politicians. By default, they are liars, they are corrupt because they care about votes, and obviously a lot of corruption. And then you also want to add another person who's also an elected person, which means by default a politician, a liar, and a corrupt person. President. So you want two. Right now we have one person at least that we have to worry about because they are politicians and they lie. They care about votes. Prime Minister, now you want to create two instead of one. Prime Minister and President. That's completely chaotic. The head of state and the head of government both being elected. You ideally want the head of state to be above politics, so we don't deal with this when it comes to the safety net of the Constitution. Unless you can create a constitutional republic like in the US, the republic doesn't work. The only way it will work is the American-style constitutional republic. It's literally the only way, and not in a sense to turn the House of Lords into Senate. Again, the problem is the House of Lords is bad now because it's become too politicized. We've put so many former failed politicians, corrupt politicians into the House of Lords. That's what's ruined it, and they're not even elected. You get rid of that, you go back to basics, back to tradition, actual constitutional monarchy. The House of Lords should not have a politician. No politician in the House of Lords. If you're a politician, stay in your stupid House of Commons. That's the House of Representatives. That's your job. The House of Lords should be the arm of the crown, which is the head of state, the king. And it's not about the king or the queen. It's the crown that's important, not the person. It's not about Charles or at the time Elizabeth. It's about the crown. The king, King Charles, is simply the protector of the crown. Doesn't matter what you think of him, it doesn't matter what he says every day. He's irrelevant. It's the crown that's the safety net of the Constitution, and the House of Lords is supposed to be the arm of the Constitution in the Houses of Parliament to hold the House of Commons to account. But over the last couple of decades, we've turned it into another political chamber, and it's a lose-lose because it's political, it's full of politicians, but we don't even elect them. And there are people who say, well, the solution is keep the politicians in the House of Lords and make them elected. No! Stop with politicians. You've got enough of them in the House of Commons. You've got 660. Get rid of them. Get rid of the politicians from the House of Lords. Go back to basics. They're not supposed to be doing politics in the House of Lords. Checks and balances. That's their job. No more politics. You've got enough of it. Since you pride of two nations, since America still weak.
When they stopped their vehicle, it was about a block behind them. It was a wooded area behind the greenhouse. Then they all moved to the east from that position. I saw the three of them together. There was a unit out there, right where I was yelling at the stop there, where they're trying to get on there. I think right in there was the last time I saw the three. Sit up. So you just start shooting the last thing. I got I don't think just east of that down area is where the line rocks all together.
It doesn't say what it is.
Head up, Ingrid. Bold plan.
I'm going last night. I played till like fucking 2 in the morning.
I'll check it out maybe. Whoops. Yeah, it's okay. Oh my god. Page 21, you're right. Is the volume okay? Oh, let me check. Ah, you're right. Thank you. Page 21. You got it? Yeah, let me know if the volume's okay there. The first three steps are decisions. The fourth and the fifth are action steps. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. We write the book, says very right. The book says, very, very specifically, that it's good to write the things down. We're more apt to do it right if we're writing. And it takes a little longer, but it's good for us. So we write it down. Or so we write it. Now, it's a moral inventory. So we don't have to write every time we turned left when we should have turned right. It doesn't mean that we have to put down everything we've ever stole, or every lie we told, or every time we got drunk. That is not what it means. It means to write down enough so that we can see the motivation for what we have done up until now. The motivating force in our lives, of course, if we want to get real simple, the whole thing will boil down to obsession of the mind, which is the ego. Every one of them will boil down to trying to satisfy the human ego, which cannot be done. So we write it down and then we share it. We share it with God, ourselves, one another, and another human being. That other human being is the thing that really sets us up for the kill. I can admit to God and to myself, while hidden in the privy, nobody knows but me and God. But if I have to spread this dirty linen out before another human being, if I've got any ego left under that, I haven't done it. That's an ego buster. So we've written it and shared it, and now we become willing to give it away, and we give it away. Now, I find people all over the world beating their brains out, trying to get rid of obsessions of the mind, their defects of character. I bet you there have been 1 million hours spent in arguing over why Step 6 says we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, and Step 7 says humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And there have been 1 million hours spent on what's the difference between shortcomings and defects of character. There's supposed to be a difference, I asked Bill, and he said, I don't know. I think I didn't want to end 2 lines right next to each other with the same words. They mean the same thing. So that's going to knock a lot of arguments out, isn't it? The main thing is that we become willing to give them away, and we give them away. If we could have done away with our defects of character, we would have done it before we came here. I wasn't just jumping up and kicking my heels together, saying, goody, goody, I get to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm sure my mother didn't raise me to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. She's 96, and she doesn't believe it yet. I say, I've had 29 years without a drink, and she says, what's so hot about that? I've had 96 years. So we become willing to give them away, and we give them away. Then we have 2 more steps in the first 10, 2 of the greatest ones left. The most immediately effective steps in the whole program are 8 and 9. We made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. If you haven't done that, do it. Do it quick. The weight of the world is removed from your shoulders when you honestly take care of 8 and 9. I'm going to tell you this little story, and it won't take long. Many of you have heard it, but it curls my hair yet. About 10 years ago, I got a call on Friday night from a guy in Whittier, and he said, "Chuck, I'm sitting here with a 6-gun in my lap, and I'm going to blow my brains out. But Jim says, don't shoot yourself until you've talked to Chuck C. And he gave me your number, and I called, and I'm ready to talk. So what have you got to say?" And I said, "You called on a bad night. I'm talking tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. But Monday night's open. So if you want to see me, come down Monday night. But if you don't, blow your brains out." That's exactly what I told him. And at 7:30 Monday evening, the doorbell rang, and in came my boy. Now let me tell you a little story within a story. Jim was Jim W., who was Sybil's husband for many years. Sybil was 14 years in our central office, and Jim was a compulsive gambler. And he started Gamblers Anonymous and wrote their book. He'd already done that. And then he became an alcoholic. And he called me one time and said, "Come and get me." And I said, "Where are you?" He was in his office on Pico, and I went and got him. And he got sober. Now Jim is losing his eyesight, and he's a sick man, but he's sober. And I talked with him on the phone just the other day, and he's pretty happy. Anyway, Jim had told this guy he not only was an alcoholic, but he was a compulsive gambler. And Jim had told him to talk to me before he blew his brains out. Well, here he was, and we started talking at 2:30 in the morning, and we were right where we are now, at steps 8 and 9, and I was telling this monkey, now here's what you got to do. You lost a lot of money, and you lost a lot of money that you didn't have, and he had lost it to professional gamblers, and that ain't a very healthy situation. It don't do much good for longevity. So here he sits, and I'm saying, now listen, here's what you've got to do. You got to go to those people and say, look, I'm not the big shot I would have had you believe. I'm an alcoholic, and I've found a way to live that might let me live one day at a time without a drink for the rest of my life. And one of its conditions is that we've got to make amends, and that's why I'm here. Now, I admit the debt. I owe you the money, and I'll pay you as soon as I can, but I ain't got no money now. Why? He said, Chuck, I can't do that. They'll kill me. And I said, so what? You won't have suicide on your mind? And the old boy started to laugh, and he's still laughing, and he's walking the streets a free man. He was laughing right over the hill ever since he left me, and he never quit. He paid them off. Nobody killed him. It's a wonder, these things. So if you haven't done steps 8 and 9, do them. The weight of the world goes right off your back when you do them. Now, to finish up, alcoholism cuts across our society from the highest to the lowest. We are peoples of all professionals, all states of poverty and riches, priests and preachers from all dominations. We have world scholars among us and bankers. Not one would have come here if they could have stayed out. We have a problem that you and I cannot solve. We have to have help. And those first 9 steps will roll away the stones because those are the surrender steps. The surrender steps. Surrender is the thing that opens the door that allows us to get the help because God Himself cannot help us until we will allow it. The recognition of the need for help and the turning of our will and of our lives over to the care of God and clearing away of the wreckage of the past is the beginning of victory. It's fantastic. Don't be afraid of it. I'm convinced that you and I have to do this without getting too serious about it. We get too serious and nothing happens. If we look too hard, we'll never find. I looked for this thing for 30 years before I got here, and I couldn't find it. I came here not looking for it, and it found me, or we found each other. I wasn't looking for anything but a way to live one day at a time without drinking, so I could rub out as much of the record as I could. So I want us to have a lot of fun this weekend. Don't be too serious. You know Rule 62? Some people put it on their license plate. Rule 62. It's a good rule. There's a little green book, and on the front cover it says Rule 62. And you open it up, and every page in the book is naked, except the double truck in the middle. And it says, don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. And that's what we want to do here this weekend. Have a lot of fun. Not get too serious, but realize the problem that we have that we cannot handle on our own. And to come to see totally before this weekend is over that what I can't do, we can do with the grace of God. Chapter 2, The Golden Key. I think maybe if we listened, we sort of established the fact that our problem actually is a living problem, and we have to have a living answer. It's my opinion that there isn't a living answer for the non-alcoholic or the alcoholic alike. That does not include a personally satisfactory, conscious partnership with the living God that made us in the entire business of living. In the entire business of living, I don't think there's an answer that doesn't include that for all people. Because if there's one thing that living with people like you for 29 years has done for me, it has convinced me beyond any shadow of a doubt that all of us are God's kids. If one of us is God's kids, all of us are. And if one of us isn't, none of us are. Now, this is whether we believe it or not, whether we like it or not. Even if we deny it, we cannot change the reality of our own being. We're God's kids, all of us. Walking alone is not normal, is not natural. Most of us have walked alone for most of our lives. I walked alone for 43 years, wanting so badly to be a part of and always apart from. This is not normal. To be away from the Father's house is not normal. It's just as natural as breathing to come home to the living God that made us. That's the normal state. Being away from home is not normal. So our problem is conscious separation and our answer is conscious unity. Now, I'm accused sometimes of being a water walker. Some people think I'm overboard on the so-called spiritual. I am not. I just happen to know that there isn't anything else but spiritual. That's all there is. There ain't no more. So I'm naturally a little bit prone to that direction. But I have never heard a speaker, including myself, from the podium of Alcoholics Anonymous so strongly affirm that as does the book, Alcoholics Anonymous. For instance, here's a line in the 2nd chapter. There is a solution, and here's what it says. Each individual in the personal stories in the back of the book describes in his own language, from his own point of view, the way he established his relationship with God. That's what it says right there. 2nd chapter, the way he established his relationship with God. And so this is the answer. Conscious separation is the problem. Conscious unity is the answer. Now, I've got a little diagram here as something that will show what I've been talking about. The circle I draw in my thinking represents the universe and everything in it. All there is. There ain't no more. That's it. Those 3 words in the circle. Life, good, God. Insofar as I'm concerned, are synonymous. They all mean the same thing, so that's it. That's all there is. There ain't no more. The line represents the feeling of conscious separation from, and as we said before, that's human ego. That's the only roadblock between you and me and God. And there am I out in left field, all by myself. I spent 43 years out there. Now, that's very real as an experience, but it is not reality. We also said that the human ego could not be satisfied, but in surrender, ego goes by the boards, temporarily. Unfortunately, but I believe fortunately, it doesn't remain gone. We'll have to surrender forever, and as far as I'm concerned, there will never be a time when we don't have to continuously surrender. When ego is gone, you wake up right in the middle of the circle, and you're now part of, not apart from, life, good, God. There is no life apart from God. God is life, and we are alive, so God is that which we are. In Him we live, and more, and have our being. Now, that's the truth of life. The carpenter said it like this: who, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit to his stature. This means, I believe, you can't change the reality of your own being. You can only change your experience in reality. My experiences were very real for 43 years, but they were not reality, and that is what happened to me in bed in January 1946, but I didn't know it. I had to discover as time went on. Now, the first time I talked with my wife, she knew that something had happened. I didn't know it. She did, because I called her in and I said, honey, she was divorcing me. It's no longer of importance to me whether or not I live under this roof. It is obviously no importance to me at all. I'll never ask a thing of you as long as we live, but one. If I can ever add anything to your life, let me give it to you. And we closed the book, and it's never been reopened. She knew something had happened. I didn't. I called the kids in, and I said, boys, there's no father in the household any longer. You don't need to love me. You don't need to obey me. I'll never ask a thing of you as long as you live. But one, if I ever have anything, be it money, counsel, or blood, that'll add to your life, let me give it to you. And we closed the book, and it's never been reopened. They were too young to know that something had happened. I went to the office before I ever got to an AA meeting because the boss had done something very nice for me on the Friday before Christmas, 1945. He'd called me in and told me, instead of shooting me, you've had a lot of trouble this year. He didn't mention booze, but he knew that I knew what he meant when he said trouble. And being a non-alcoholic, he said, I think I know what's the matter with you. You're under too much pressure, and I'm going to take a little of the pressure off you. So instead of shooting me, as he had very much the right to do, he gave me $3,000 for a Christmas present the Friday before Christmas, 1945. If any of you have ever drunk any booze, you know that there's one thing that's worse for an alkie than bad fortune, and that's good fortune. So I got drunk on the way home, and I never showed up until the last of January, and he'd missed me. He'd sent word to the house that if I'd ever set foot in the plant again, he was going to throw me through the window. And the window to which he referred doesn't open. It's plate glass. So I was down there before I got into the first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting because I didn't know where to find you guys. But I knew where the plant was. And I went down there knowing that I was going to be thrown through the window, but I couldn't help it because he paid me for something I didn't do. He had come in to throw me through the window, and I couldn't have defended myself. Had he come in to throw me through the window, and I couldn't have defended myself with a shotgun because I was puny. I was not well. I'd just come off a 4-week blackout. Fortunately for me, I was on the phone when he came in, and he had a little time. So he took my drafting boards and stuff out of the way so he'd have a clear shot at the window. As soon as I hung up, the phone was his. He was a frugal man. He didn't want to throw me through. I hung up the phone and he started to talk. And I said, Victor, leave me alone. I don't work for you anymore. I'm down here to clean up this desk. I'm here to do the things you paid me for the last year and that I didn't do. And as soon as I get even with you, I'll get out of here on my own power, and you'll never owe me a penny as long as you live. But for God's sake, leave me alone. I've got to get even with you. And he stopped in his tracks and said, "What the hell's happened to you, Charlie?" I said, "I don't know." But he did, and he didn't throw me through the window. So all of those people and many of my clients knew that something had happened to me a long time before I discovered it. I'd be sitting with a man at lunch, talking business with him, and right in the middle of a sentence he'd say, "What the hell's happened to you, Charlie? I've known you for 20 years, known you for 25 years, and I don't know you." And I'd say, "I don't know," and I didn't. But this is what happened. The thing called ego was gone, and eventually I woke up in the circle, a part of and not a part from. And we'll pause there on page 32. You're welcome. Thank you.
Help him. I have an Afghan over my head.
Maybe we'll be able to figure it out anyway.
We're here. What are you doing?